Hello class, welcome to week 6 of IS 688. In this class, we'll be finishing up module 3 on hashing and dimensionality reduction. Some announcements beforehand. I want to mention as you are working on your Medium posts, when you post them online and you share them with the course publication, do note on occasion you'll get these notes on your post. They're kind of subtle to see. There are these little stars here. And these private notes that you get are often solicitations for asking whether you want to have your article featured on some other publication. So this is an opportunity to get good exposure. This is part of the reason why I do these Medium publications as part of the course. So do be on the lookout for those. Speaking of the Medium posts, note that the Module 3 assignment on similarity is due next week, so be thinking about that. You can look at last week's content for some ideas and overview on that. For the semester project, I'm waiting on revisions for your proposal from the teams, so be sure and get these in if you have anything you'd like to change or update to get some points back. Your data collection report is due now. It's due on the 6th, so it's due this week. Make sure that you get that in as soon as possible if you haven't done so. For this week, in this part of the module, we have 3 main learning objectives to go over. One is a continuation from last time where we look at the band size and how it affects false positives in locality-sensitive hashing. Then we'll move on and talk about dimensionality reduction and what the connection is between dimensionality reduction and latent factors. Basically, how can you interpret what's a normal language or layman's interpretation for dimensionality reduction around this idea of latent factors. And then we'll talk about 2 different ways to do dimensionality reduction. So you should have some idea of what this looks like, because there are 2 major schools of dimensionality reduction that we'll talk about in terms of compression or clustering. And then if you have any questions, as always, there's a discussion forum for Module 3. Next week is going to move on to Module 4, where we talk about clustering. So there's a particular chapter in the text for this, Chapter 7, and I want you to be reading Chapter 7, Sections 1, 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, and 7.4 to get an idea about clustering and its techniques, different kinds of clustering that we'll talk about, primarily hierarchical clustering and k-means. As I mentioned, get your data collection report in as soon as possible if you haven't already done so. And also for next week, remember that the assignment 3, the assignment for module 3 is due as well. Though this is a soft deadline, but your data collection report for your semester project is not. Get that in as soon as possible. All right, and I will have the link up to the second part of module 3 in this week's lecture right after this as well.